My guest is Christina Tonkin. She's the Managing Director, Loans and Specialised Finance at ANZ. Thanks so much for being with us.
Wonderful to join you this morning.
What initiatives has ANZ put in place to support not only gender diversity but inclusion in senior management and across the bank?
Well, we've been driving a number of things. I think stepping back and looking at the overall landscape, the key goal in ANZ is to drive a diverse and inclusive workforce. It's to effectively have a workforce that reflects the broader society and indeed the customers that we bank, all the way from retail, day-to-day personal banking, through small business to the institutional banking end. And that is very key. And it is all about how you drive diversity and inclusion, whether you're specifically talking about gender, whether you're talking about ethnic and cultural backgrounds, whether you're talking about disability. And the more that we do in order to drive diversity and inclusion, I think the better offering we can offer our customers in the broader community.
And what are the key ways that you've done that across the bank for all employees?
Yes. So some of the key changes, and probably the pivotal change, is that a couple of years ago, ANZ made every role within the organisation flexible. And by flexible, that doesn't mean just, permanent part-time work. This includes things like leave without pay, I think best in class ability around carers leave, paternity leave, maternity leave, and career breaks. Also flexible start-finish times, and the ability to buy a certain amount of leave each year. This, along with increasing and change in technology, is allowing all individuals across ANZ who work for ANZ to access a more flexible working conditions. I think that particularly plays and is supportive of women throughout their career and how they're transitioning, whether it's looking after a small and young family or teenagers, or indeed later on where you have the classic conundrum of elderly parents or other people that you're caring for. So again, that is accessible to all people within the organisation. It's not just a focus on specific gender. And I think that is quite important because in my experience running quite a large team, and I've been 30 years within banking, the real key to changing and driving broader inclusion is a focus on broader diversity and inclusion.
Why is that?
And I think why that is because I think it benefits everyone. It's not just benefiting a specific part of the population. And I think that is important because you're really trying to shift mindset of the greater population, not just mindset of a few.
And so how does that work within your team? You've got 300 people across your team, 37% of them are women. How does that flexible offering affect that group of people?
Yeah. So again, I have about 300 people across the region, roughly about 15 in New Zealand, 100 outside of Australia, and the remainder within Australia. Approximately about 37% of my team are women, but annually when we run our staff surveys, about 65% of the team would say that they access flexible working arrangements. What that has meant is that we've been able to do in certain areas flexible start-finish times. So certainly women have been able to start later, finish later, or start later, go home earlier, and you can spread, your time over the work area. And you've been able to do that on a customised job-by-job basis. And that's been quite effective in terms of being seen as a place for women to join the team and also to facilitate their careers and plan their careers going forward. Because I think everybody needs to plan their career, but I think it's particularly important for women to plan their career so they can have everything, a successful career, and juggle the requirements of family life within a society that is still quite challenging in terms of getting quality home care for younger children, or even children later on at school age, after school care.
You're involved with Chief Executive Women. You're a very senior woman in banking. Can you have it all?
Oh, I think in some respects, everything in life, whatever profession you're in, is in a trade. I'm quite frequently asked to talk about work-life balance, and particularly in my case, I can't sit back and say that we're doing the double career. My husband actually retired from work. He is the unpaid slave and I am the paid slave. He did that when our second child was born, who's now 14. What I would say is that I, as an individual, absolutely do access the flexible leave. For instance, this Friday, it's my daughter's prize giving. I understand, excitingly, that she's picked up a couple of prizes, so I definitely will be at that. In addition, I have been a big taker of an accessor of taking additional leave without pay each year, and that's allowed me to have quality time with my family, bearing in mind that I do a lot of travel and a lot of international travel. So I would definitely say that I tick the box on being accessing and flexibility. If I hadn't had that ability to have additional leave, particularly over the last sort of 17 years, my oldest child is 17, I wouldn't be doing the job that I'm doing today, because I would have found that I wouldn't have had enough time to manage all aspects. I'm an only child. My mother is coming up for 90. She lives very close to me. I quite often will take a little bit of carer's leave, an hour or so here, to take her to appointments. And the bank has been very accommodating about that, and we have a structure in place that allows that to occur. I would also sort of say that it's enabled, like a lot of things, your leadership needs to start at the top. And for the team I've got, I think I like to role model that, and it has allowed and given permission for people to access that within the business. Because I would kind of say quite often you can have a lot of policies and procedures sitting within large organisations, whether it's a bank or indeed any other large organisation, but you can end up with a position that people feel that afraid to take it or take advantage of their actual policies in place because they think that they will be discriminated against. And therefore, I think senior role modelling of that, whether it's myself or my people leaders underneath, is very important. It's also beneficial.
What about the role of male champions of change, someone like Shayne Elliott, your CEO?
Well, I think, ANZ's involved in a number of different external partnerships. Our CEO, Shayne Elliott, is indeed a male champion of change, and he's definitely been a champion of change within the organisation in driving diversity and inclusion, and has made, a number of changes along with a lot of senior executives around hiring policies, flexibility, etc. He's been, a strong advocate and supporter of, getting the right gender pay balance effectively and around driving flexibility for particular roles. ANZ's also, and indeed I am a member of Chief Executive Women, which is designed to sponsor and assist women leaders, enabling other women leaders. I think that's very powerful with a number of different programs and educational programs that are offered. ANZ is also a member of Women in Banking and Finance, and I'm the Vice President of that. Women in Banking and Finance is designed to get more women into the banking and finance sector, and particularly designed around women from graduate entry level through to really managing a team that is a P&L business. So quite often through those, family area of time, and we provide a lot of networking events, but also indeed career coaching, etc., skills coaching.
Good place to work?
I think ANZ's an excellent place to work. I've been at ANZ for 12 years. I'm coming up to my 30-year anniversary in banking. I'm still as motivated today as the day I started.
It's been terrific to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.